Good morning to you and good day, and welcome back to our reflection of our Sunday readings, specifically in the Gospel of today, the third Sunday of Easter. We see on the Gospel narrative how Jesus showed himself to his disciples. And I think this is important for each one of us as we have this journey of faith, as we gather together in the Eucharist, and as we journey of our this Easter season. And we know that the proclamation that Jesus is risen from the dead is the important proclamation of the church. That's why even until now we continue to proclaim that Jesus is risen from the dead. And I hope that as we continue this reflection, I think it's good to know that we go back to the gospel of today and see what is the message for each one of us. We heard a lot of messages, but this gospel narrative tells us that Jesus showed himself to his apostles, to his disciples for the third time. And as we continue our reflection for this Easter season, let us go back to the location and these locations or these places. What is these places telling us about ourselves also? So their location is in the Lake of Tiberias or the Sea of Galilee. At the same time, they have in the boat and in the seashore. So these three areas is where they have the encounter with the Lord. So they have this encounter with Jesus, the resurrected Jesus. So the first location of Jesus, or the first area, we could say, is in the sea. We see the apostles after Jesus has been died, they go back to their old way of life. So they go back into their fishing. That's why they are in the sea. That's why when Peter said, I'm going fishing. So the other disciples, Andrew and the other disciples said, we will come with you. So they overnight they go for fishing. And what happened? When as they go for fishing, they caught nothing because sometimes maybe they are frustrated and they have problems because Jesus died. That's why they caught nothing. And I think sometimes in our life we have sea also. We have seas in life. And our seas of life would tell us that we have challenges, frustrations, difficulties. Sometimes we go back to the old our old self. And as if in the sea we have the stagnation of self. And sometimes in the sea, we of course if you are going to swim, of course you need to take care of yourself. That's why become self-centered. And at the same time, in the sea, if the sea is not good to you, you cannot catch fish. That's why the sea symbolizes challenges, frustrations, difficulties, old self, stagnation of self, self-centeredness, uh, and also being have no fruit at all. So that is C. Now we can go to the second area. What is the second area? Boat. So of course, if you are in the sea, you need the boat in order to catch fish. So when Jesus told them, "Oh, bring down your nets on the starboard," on the other translation it says on the right side. And when they pull out the nets, they caught said 153 big fishes. It's nice, isn't it? That people, if you catch big fishes and then 153, you will be happy. That's why you need to pull it in the boat. And boat in the Old Testament, or the ship, we could say, symbolizes the church. So if you are in the boat, meaning you are in the church. And it says in the gospel 153. Let's say, according to some scholars, 153 symbolizes different nations at that time. 153. And also, in the gospel narrative, it also said that the net is not broken. So it is full of fish, 153 big fishes, but the net has not been broken. So the net is too strong. Because in our reflection, both symbolizes belongingness, both symbolizes oneness, and both symbolizes strength. That's why in our life, we need to go to the boat of our life. That's why we need to be united to the Lord and to have the strength, to regain the strength. Because if you are always in the sea and you don't have any boat and you will get tired, what would happen to you? You will be drowned. So you need the boat. You need to go in the boat to regain your strength. That's why sometimes you need to go away from your sea of life and aboard on the boat. That's why every Sunday we gather together, we celebrate the Eucharist together to regain our strength, to be one with the Lord, to encounter Jesus in our life, and to be part of that belongingness as one church. That's why if we don't go to the boat and always go to the sea of life, difficulties, trials, you will get tired. That's why we need to go to the church every Sunday, to go into the boat, to have Jesus in our life. And the third one, it says seashore. So we have the sea, the boat, and the seashore. What's in the seashore? We see the dialogue, we hear the dialogue of Jesus and Saint Peter. And on that particular conversations, Jesus now is giving an instruction to Peter. Who is Peter? According to our tradition, Saint Peter is the head of the apostles. He's the vicar of Christ here on earth. And Peter is the one who would take care the church. In other words, he's the first pope who would feed the sheep of the Lamb of God, of the Lamb, the sheep of the people of God. And in the shore, we see this particular mission, feeding the lambs at the same time loving Jesus. Because oftentimes, this gospel narrative, we always hear this one when there is an installation of the Pope, of a Pope. We see the installation of Pope Francis, Pope Benedict, Pope John Paul. We hear this gospel. And also, according to the tradition, it's reconfirmation again because Peter denied Jesus 3 times. So, in order to regain that, Jesus asked Peter 3 times, "Do you love me? Do you love me?" But you see, it, in our mission also, if Peter has this particular mission to feed the sheep and loving Jesus, I think this is also our mission as Christians. We need to love the Lord always. It's not only about feeding the sheep, feeding the sheep. Yes, it's okay. That's the outcome of loving Jesus. That's why we need to love Jesus. And if we go back to our previous reflections, to our Good Friday reflection, I told that sacrifices, sufferings, cannot save us. What saves us? Love, the love of God. Now, Jesus here is emphasizing to Peter that in order to feed the sheep, to feed the lambs, what Peter must do first? Love Jesus. So, as we continue our journey, at least let's continue to love Jesus. And that is our basic call, our basic vocation. We must love Jesus so that we can do our particular mission in life. That's why sometimes it's nice to start your week by attending masses. It's nice to start your day by prayer, because in prayer, in the Eucharist, we have the strength of the whole day, because we have Jesus in our lives. That's why if you forget to attend mass every Sunday, how can we feed the sheep? How we can do our mission? We always say that we are Easter people, we are being baptized, we are Catholics. Yet oftentimes we don't go to the church. We don't love Jesus. They said, "Oh, we love Jesus, but you don't go to the church." So what's so it's become useless. If you really love Jesus, we go to the church and to celebrate the Eucharist together, because the Eucharist is a sacrament of love. That's why we need to go away from our seas of life, and we need to aboard on the ship, on the boat, so that we can love Jesus. And on the boat, it will bring us to the seashore of life. And in the seashore of life, we will learn how to love Jesus. And in loving Jesus, we can do our own missions. We can do our particular work as Christians. Remember, Jesus said to the disciples, "Oh, put down your nets on the other side, on the right side, on the starboard." If you are a fisherman, who is this guy who would tell me that I as a fisherman, would command me to do these things? You caught nothing, and yet someone would tell you to put down your nets again on the other side. So you see, encountering Jesus every Sunday, loving Jesus every day, would connotes fruitfulness. See the beauty of encountering Jesus in our life. Because in obedience to Jesus leads fruitfulness of our Christian life. Obeying Jesus, loving Jesus, brings us into the wonderful of life, the life of the resurrection, the life of fruitfulness. So we have the sea, the boat, and the seashore. We need to go away from the sea. And the sea symbolizes difficulties, frustrations, challenges, that we need to go aboard on the boat. We need to be together in the Eucharist as a church, so that we can be led by Jesus to the shore. What is in the shore? It would tell us our particular mission of life. What is our particular mission? First is to love Jesus. That's a basic thing. And in loving Jesus, we need to encounter Him every day in our life. We start our week by celebrating the Eucharist together, so that we can do our particular missions. We can do our call as Catholics, as Christians in here on earth. So, my dear brothers and sisters, we need to go away from our sea of life, aboard on the ship, so that we can encounter Jesus on the seashore of life. So, thank you for your attention. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your presence in this live stream reflection of our Sunday readings. And I hope you could continue to subscribe and share this simple reflection of ours as we continue our journey of faith as Catholics, as Christians. So thank you and God bless you all.